Welcome back. We turn now to a CBS News Miami investigation into the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. In July 2022, the 988 system was unveiled across the country so that anyone thinking about suicide or having a mental health problem could call a simple 3-digit number for help. When you call that number, you are supposed to be routed to a call center in your community who can help you find the support in the local resources you need. It is an important tool in battling the mental health crisis in this country. But how well is that system working here in Florida? What we found out may surprise you.
All across our country, people are hurting and they need help. The good news is getting that help just got a lot easier.
That was Jessica Rosenworcel, the chair of the Federal Communications Commission, launching the 988 system on July 18, 2022.
Effective immediately, if you call or text 988, you will be connected to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. There, professional support is available for anyone with a mental health emergency.
In a little more than a year, more than 7 million calls have been placed to 988. Ideally, those calls were answered by a local call center where the staff is aware of the services available in the community.
The vast majority of folks have their needs met by being heard, by having an interaction with a compassionate human being who cares. But let's face it, there is absolutely callers who have a valid and legitimate mental health concern.
Mike Martin oversees the 988 call center in Pensacola that handles calls from 10 counties across the Panhandle.
If you are not familiar with like the local community mental health centers, the local health clinics, the local clergy, if you're not familiar with those resources, it's more difficult to make that handoff. So that's why it's really important that it be locally based.
But if the local call center is backed up or understaffed, the call is routed to a national call center, which will offer help, but may not know the best resources available locally. There are more than 200 call centers across the country, and the local answer rate is 88%, according to Vibrant, the agency overseeing the 988 program nationally. But in Florida, the local answer rate between October 1st, 2022 and September 30th, 2023 was just 69%. The numbers have been improving every month from a low of 52% in October of 2022 to 74% in September. But even with those improved numbers in September, Florida's answer rate for that month was still 45th in the country.
I do think we got a slow start. I don't think the call centers got the funding they needed initially to ramp up, but I think we're getting there.
Gail Geis is the executive director of the Florida Mental Health Coalition, which has been advocating for increased support for 988 in Florida.
I think we'll hit 90% in the next year.
2 years ago, when the plans were being drawn up in Florida to roll out 988, the State Department of Children and Families conducted a study and determined 988 needed at least $25 million a year in funding to properly staff and train workers at the state's 13 local call centers. According to Geis, the call centers received less than half that amount.
We really want to be able to ramp up and have a robust system, and we want our call centers to be able to advertise and hire and train and be ready for a surge in calls.
Currently, most of the money comes from federal grants, but securing a stable source of funding from the state is critical, Geis and others said.
To maintain the capacity to handle increased call volume, when we, the state of Florida and the nation go much more active in our advertisement for 988, is at least a 50% increase of where I'm at right now.
Stephen Sardellis, who supervises a 988 call center in North Florida that covers 8 counties, said that because he only has 17 paid staffers, he has to rely on volunteers to cover the phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I think our volunteer program is great to have. But with a utility like this that we want to be accessible and readily available to everybody, we really ought to have enough paid staff dedicated to making sure that can happen at the rate that it is expected to happen, which is answering at least 90% of our calls within the first 30 seconds.
In South Florida, the 2 local call centers are having their own struggles. The call center for Miami-Dade and Monroe counties has an answer rate, according to Vibrant, of 56% between October 1st, 2022 and September 30th, 2023. And the call center operated in Broward had an answer rate of just 43%, meaning a majority of the calls to the 988 center in Broward end up being answered by someone in another state. In a statement to CBS News Miami, the agency running Broward's system said they are seeing improvements in recent months. We have redirected non-988 staff and resources to support 988, but can't continue to do that indefinitely. We need additional resources both to maintain and to continue increasing the local answer rate. We also reached out to Jewish Community Services, which operates the 988 system in Miami. They said they do not believe Vibrant's numbers are accurate and that their answer rate is much higher than the 56% shown in this story. Nevertheless, increasing funding for the 988 system is expected to be one of the issues the governor and the Florida legislature will consider in the upcoming legislative session. But by all indications, the number of calls to 988 are only expected to increase. We'll continue to follow what happens. Up next, we'll look at another hot issue in the upcoming legislative session: what to do with condo and homeowners associations. Stay with us.